some time to get up in here and join this live stream. Guys, gonna have to look at my ugly mug for a minute, but look at these cloud formations. Give you guys something else to look at while I wait for you guys to come up in here, or for more people to come up in here. Look at the cloud formations. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful natural cloud formations. It rained for a little bit. It might be raining a little bit more later, but it's beautiful. Sky is like blue, it's a little bit blue. Not as deep blue as it should be, but it's blue. Yo. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, my fellow marchers. You guys I'm referring to you guys now as, we're marchers of freedom. We're on Freedom's March right now. If you join this channel, if you're a supporter of this channel, you are part of Freedom's March. That's the purpose and the goal of this channel, is the march toward freedom. So you are part of Freedom's March. So you're my fellow marchers. Anyway, welcome to the march, people. Fall in, grab your rucksack, grab your go bag, plenty of ammunition, and your freedom tool, and let's get to marching. Anyway, so breaking news, kinda, it's a little bit of breaking news. Pretty sure a lot of you people have heard about it. A lot of my marchers have heard about Colin Powell. Colin Powell, who was fully snapped, passed away from the dust. The dust took him away, even though he was reverse snapped by the Incredible Hulk. He has passed away. It is what it is. I have no feelings about Colin Powell. He was part of the machine. He was part of the reason we ended up in Iraq. You know what I'm saying? He told the lie of weapons of mass destruction and got us into this perpetual war in the Middle East, helped us destabilize the Middle East. I mean, it is what it is. He passed away from the snap, or from the dust, after being fully snapped. Now, my question is, was it the snap or the dust? They're saying it's the dust, right? They're saying it's the dust. And they're probably going to try to find a way to blame it on unsnapped people. But the reality is, you can't blame it on the unsnapped people if the snap did not protect him. The snap did not protect him. His fully snapped ass was not protected by the snap. So these people can blame unsnapped people all they want. They can say, oh, we're creating the variants and all this other bullshit. At the end of the day, the variants they're not checking to see, right? So a variant is a mutation, right? It's mutated from the things that occur while inside the human host, or whatever the case may be. It changes, it adapts, it evolves, or whatever, so that it can last longer, right? It doesn't go around checking, oh, are you snapped? Well, if you're snapped, then I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to create a variant because you're. And it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't care. They're not getting a memo. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting a phone call from the president telling them, don't mutate in this host because this host is snapped. So, only evolve, only adapt in unsnapped people. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I would even go as far as to say that it's probably easier for it to adapt to snapped antibodies or snapped the snapped immune system, because the snapped immune system isn't as strong, right? It isn't as strong, so it probably has better ways to adapt and make quick changes to get around it. Whereas with fully snapped people or unsnapped people, you create more strong antibodies. It's not just the number of antibodies, it's the type of antibody that hones in and attacks the virus. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably harder for it to adapt to unsnapped people, but I digress. This idea that unsnapped people are the issue is completely asinine. I want you guys to peep the circular logic here. As a matter of fact, I would like to use the clown shit Lucas as an example, because he did a live stream the other day where a guy was calling him out for not being snapped. You know what I'm saying? Called him out for not being snapped. Said, you're kind of a hypocrite because you run around telling people that they should be snapped and you agree with the mandates, but you're not snapped yourself. And he's like, well, I've already had the Modelo 19, so blah, blah, blah. I find it very convenient that in the same week, he told people that he was going to go to the doctor and film himself live getting the snap. He gets sick from Modelo 19. He starts losing his sense of taste and smell. All of a sudden, in the same week, he promised that he was going to get snapped during a live stream. He gets sick. Very convenient. Anyway, it is what it is. The bottom line is this. That shit don't protect you from nothing. If it takes for me to be snapped to protect you, who are also snapped, from getting the virus, who's protecting both of us? That's my question. If it takes, they say that everybody has to be snapped to protect everybody else from being snapped. Who's protecting everybody from the dust? They try to tell you that it's more difficult for you to get and transmit the virus if you're snapped. But where is the proof of that? Where are the studies? Does anybody know of a study where they studied the transmission rate? I'm talking about a study. I'm not talking about an article, some shit the CDC put out just all willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? Based on their assumptions of the research of the snap itself. Where is the proof? Has there been any studies? I don't care if it's a peer-reviewed study or not. Preprint. I'll even accept a preprint paper, a preprint study that shows that the transmission rate and the contraction rate of the Modelo 19 is greatly reduced when you're fully snapped. Where is the proof of that? Because I tell you what, they did a study in Israel. It did not show that snapped people had reduced transmission and contraction rates. It showed that there was a spike. They had a spike in Israel where they've had the highest rate of fully snapped people in the world. The highest rate of fully snapped people in the world still spiked. So, and even Rachel, what her fucking name is? The head of the CDC, the chick. She said that what's her name? Rachel something? I've got her name. She's the head of the CDC. She even said that the snap will not protect you. It will not protect you. It will not stop you from getting or transmitting the snap or the the dust. It will not. But what it does, what it's of going into the hospital or getting a real bad case. That's what it's supposed to do. But as we know, the Delta variant has a much it's a weaker form of the virus, right? The Delta, Lambda, U, whatever you want to call it. It, even though it's they say it spreads more quickly, it's more virulent, it's still it's much less deadly than the original version. So they say, you know, who knows what the truth is. Until they isolate this thing, until they isolate this shit, purify it, and visualize it, and all that other shit, it hasn't even been isolated. So it is what it is. The faster a virus spreads, the less deadly it's going to be, because the host has to live long enough for it to pass it on to other people. That's how this shit works. But is Colin Powell the first person we heard about that this happened to? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He passed away. Kudos to him for coming out and saying, yeah, the weapons of mass destruction lie was a lie. At least he came out and did that. But that's about as good as he is. You understand what I'm saying? So this is not this is happening all over the place. People are getting snapped, and they're getting the virus. They're getting Modelo 19, and they're being hospitalized. They're getting really sick. How many times do we have to go through this? How many times do people have to see this shit happening for them to be like, you know what? Maybe we should not mandate the snap if people are still contracting and transmitting the disease and still dying from it, still getting hospitalized. What incentive are we offering people for forcing them to get the snap if they're not even, we're not even confident that it'll protect you? We're not even confident that you won't get adverse effects from it. So why do they still insist on keeping these mandates going? You think they care about public health? You think they care about your health? Hell nah. They don't. They don't. They'll just blame it on the unsnapped people. Oh, well, you got too many unsnapped people. We only have, 70% or 60% fully snapped. So at the end of the day, we know this shit is not doing anything for us. It's not only is it not doing anything, in some cases, it might even make you more vulnerable to the snap, especially now this is what they try to tell you. They throw in a lot of shit. If you mix snaps. Oh, now if you mix snaps, it might make it stronger. What? That's what they're trying to say. Oh, if you get the Pfizer snap and the Moderna snap, both, if you mix them, it'll probably make the shit stronger. It's just asinine. How? Or if you get the Johnson & Johnson and the Moderna, it might make it stronger. What? That's like the wearing of the 2 masks, or wearing 4 masks, or 3 masks. It's just arbitrary bullshit that they're pulling out their ass to try to convince you that you need to go ahead and get snapped. Or they'll tell you, oh, well, if you're snapped and you have natural immunity, that's even better than natural immunity. How? How, Sway? How? So when you have natural immunity, your body creates very strong antibodies that recognize 20 different proteins to attack. Whereas the snap only recognizes 2. When you're snapped, your antibodies only recognizes 2 proteins to attack. So how is that even a help? And not only that, snap antibodies aren't even all over your body. They're not everywhere they need to be. They're very limited. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to all the organs and all this other shit. Whereas natural immunity proliferates. Your antibodies go all over the place. It protects other organs. So how are they saying? You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make this shit up. They have to say that fully snapped people, or they have to say that people with natural immunity get even stronger immunity when they get snapped, so they can justify still forcing you to get snapped. But the idea behind the mandates, what's the idea behind the mandates? Is it to ensure that you have stronger antibodies? Or is it to ensure that you don't get as sick when you get it? Or is it to stop the spread? Are the mandates there to stop the spread? Because if the mandates are there to stop the spread, then it's a moot mandate. It doesn't even make sense, because fully snapped people, they don't stop the spread. So what's the point behind it? I don't care what they say about, oh, well, it reduces this. No. Old girl from the CDC already said it. You can't take that back. She said it will not protect you from getting the virus. It will not protect you from spreading the virus. You know what I'm saying? She already said it. So what's the point? What's the point? If the mandates aren't there to stop the spread, you really think that they care if you don't get sick or not? If you get the virus? No, they don't give a shit. It's about control. At the end of the day, that's what all this shit's about. And just FYI, a lot of military cats, there's a class action lawsuit against the Biden administration for the mandates. Now, this is on the grounds of religious exemptions. And see, this is the problem I have with this religious exemption shit. Because if you hang your shit on religious exemptions, they can find a way to shoot that religious exemption shit down by saying, oh, well, the Pope said, nah, there's no religious exemption against that. You can go ahead and get snapped. Or whatever clergyman or fucking whatever religious leader they want to find to say, no, it's perfectly fine. No, there's no grounds for religious exemption. They can just, that's all they have to do. If that's what you're hanging it on, instead of just saying it's about personal choice, I'm suing the government for the mandates because it violates my rights to personal choice. It violates my right to privacy. That's all you need. I don't need to explain it further than that. There should not be a mandate because there are people who don't want to get it. They don't want to get snapped. And they should be able to not get snapped without worrying about losing their jobs. Bottom line to it. That's it. That's all you need. Like all these other explainers, all this other shit, it's not necessary. We're all free individuals. We're all free human beings. At the end of the day, it's about personal choice. And I personally choose not to get snapped. And I don't have to explain to you why. But I can damn sure go to work. And that's the problem. That's why it's coercion. Because they're forcing you to choose between having something injected into your body and losing your job. Either way, you lose. You lose because you don't want to get snapped and you want to keep your job. Now, those who want to get snapped, that don't care, they don't care about that choice. It's not coercion for them because they were going to get snapped anyway. It's something that they were willing to do to keep their job. That's why it's a coercion. It's not voluntary because I don't volunteer to lose my job. I don't volunteer to get the snap. So if I lose my job, it's not voluntary. And if I'm forced to get the snap because I need to make money and all this other shit, and every company is now requiring the vaccine, and I can't go anywhere. I can't get a job anywhere. That's even worse. Because now I can't work. Now I have to a degree. Unless I can find some way to work under the table. You know what I'm saying? Do some side jobs. You know? Live under the radar. These are not real choices, people. These are not real choices. Understand that. If you're forced to choose between two things that you don't want to do, that's fucking coercion. Understand? So this religious exemption shit, I have a problem with it. I have a problem with people doing that. Because if I have a problem with that. Because now they're having religious leaders come out and say, no, it's not a religious exemption. Even though before, the religious exemptions never relied upon that, right? Before, you never had to get a letter or something from a pastor or anything like that. You could just, like religion that you made up. Then who are they go to? So if I make up my own religion, right? Is it any less valid than established religions? Because I made it up? What if I had my own religion? Let's call it the I don't know the Tyrannicus Killis. I don't know, the Tyrannicus Killis motherfucking religion, where my faith and belief revolves around killing tyrants and destroying tyrants. Let's say that. And my belief system is that we are free individuals. Anybody that would go against that are tyrants that needed to be eradicated. And one way to practice the Tyrannicus Killis religion is by not having things put in your body that the government wants to put in there. Is my religion not valid? What if I'm the leader of my religion, right? I'm the religious leader. My religion is Tyrannicus Killis, and goddamn it, I'm the leader because I started that shit. I founded Tyrannicus Killis. My religion is just as valid as a Christian's because that shit's made up. It's made up based on things that happened back in those days, these books that were collected, things that Jesus Christ did and went through. At the end of the day, regardless of what the faith is based around, right? Regardless of what you have faith in, the system that you build around it is a construct, right? The faith that you build around it, the system you build around your faith, what you believe in, is a fucking construct. Religion is a construct based on observations. I observed this happened, this plague happened, this flood happened, these stars align in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? There are 12 or 13 constellations that we look at and all that other shit with the zodiacs, all that shit. It's a construct. So if I want to say, yo, all right, you want to do this religious exemption shit? I am the leader of the Tyrannicus Killers, and I hereby decree that the religious exemption against the snap is valid. What they gonna do then? What can they say? That's why this religious exemption shit is it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. We're free individuals at the end of the day, and that's it. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about that? Why can't people understand that? I don't understand it myself. I don't understand how people don't recognize and realize what freedom is, and why we can't just, why can't that be exercised and respected? Why can't our freedoms and our rights be respected? Why does this shit have to be challenged every time you turn around? Every time you turn around, they're challenging our fucking freedoms. They're challenging our fucking liberties. Why? Why do we accept that? Why are we so in need of being taken care of by the government? Why can't we form communities and we take care of each other? Why does it have to be this big, huge, fucking banker-controlled conglomerate corporation that has to oversee and manipulate all this everything, and we just sit back and okay with that because we don't? Who's going to build the bridges? Who's going to build the roads? Fuck out of here. We build the bridges. We built the roads. The government does not imbue and the government does not imbue genius and inventiveness and ingenuity onto people. People have that inherently, right? They inherently are intelligent. They know how to build things. They're inventors. They're smart. People naturally born and know how to work well with their hands. People are naturally athletic. The government does not anoint us with special powers to do shit. Engineers, they go to school. They learn how to exercise their brains that lean toward attention to detail, fine motor skills, all these other attributes. The government does not give us that. We don't need the government to get together and figure out how to build a fucking road. We don't need the government to trade with other countries, right? We don't need some controlling body to tell us, yo, we need to trade with this people and that people. We can do that, right? Whatever you want to call it. You want to call it government, whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, government means control. Government means control, and we don't have to have people controlling us to have a fully functioning society. Society can exist without daddy government ruling over us. We don't need that. Let me see what y'all talking about real quick. Who's up in here? Miss Berry was good. Dark Nebula, how you doing? Jay with open eyes. 4, try it, buy it, make it, sell it in the house. Marcy T. Black Swan B1. I haven't seen you in a while, Black Swan. No nonsense. Stucky was good. I haven't seen you in here in a minute. All right, let me see. Mandate versus Kyrie Irving here. Derek C. Williams putting up receipts as usual. Fully jabbed. Yep. Let me see. Black Swan B1 says cases display all the mandates. Because how are the SNAP people dying from C-19 and there many cases of healthy people under 50 years old? Good question. Marcy T said death fast or a slow death. Yeah. Darcy Williams in listening mode. Darcy Williams says websites are popping up nationwide for employees not mandating the jab. No shit. I need to check that out. Bless Mom B1 says, did you see Washington State trooper was forced to quit his job because he wouldn't get snapped? Yep, that's happening all over the place. There are whole police departments walking out, which I have very little respect for because they weren't walking off the job when we had mandates enforced upon us. Yeah, self-employed. I mean, listen, trade and barter, that's going to be the future for people like us. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to be living like nomads and ducking in and out of the system. It's going to be like fucking Demolition Man out this bitch. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Demolition Man. I told y'all about Demolition Man, didn't I? I said we're heading toward a Demolition Man society before the snap even happened. I think I did tell y'all that. Let me see. Try by Make It Sell It says, I feel like I'm living in a long episode of Twilight Zone. Hey, fiction, hey, what do they say? Life imitates art or art imitates fiction, some shit. Jared Omanai says, I've been saying that is a religion that made up anyway, so I should be able to make up my own reason, and that should be respected regardless, but not, it's only official if it's backed by a pastor. Pasteurize yourself. You're Jay with open eyes, you're hereby pasteurized. Shit. We don't even listen. Y'all know what's up. Dark Nebula says, I was looking for a law to cite when I told my job I wasn't getting the SNAP, and apparently there isn't one for religious exemptions. See? Jay with open eyes 4 says, Lucas is a raging hypocrite. I was watching his live and he was talking about the government caring about people's health. He's full of shit. He knows better than that. Amazing Lucas is full. He know damn well the government don't care about our health. They don't care about our fucking health. Are you serious? Man, fuck out of here. And it's not the government's responsibility to ensure our health. It's not. It's not the government's responsibility to ensure that we're healthy. Public health is not the fucking government's responsibility. I don't care how you slice it. It just isn't. As a matter of fact, the government is a detriment to public health. Now, I will say, OSHA, there are a lot of things good about OSHA. They ensure a safe work site, job site. If you've ever been on a construction site, you know how dangerous it can be. I've been working in construction for almost 20 years. I've been in, as a matter of fact, everything I've done as far as work has been hands-on, like, you know, mechanical, like actually putting your hands on it. I ain't never been in an office. So I've always been, I was an infantryman, I was a tow truck driver, and a goddamn electrician. Everything I've done, I had to put my hands on it. I had to get dirty. I had to be out there in dangerous conditions. And that's just, I will say, OSHA is probably a good form of government. But again, you don't need government to have OSHA. You understand? So that's the thing. You can have bodies and entities that ensure certain things without government involvement. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to make contracts. So if you hire a contractor to do some building for you, it's in the contract. You have to be safe. You have to allow our safety regulating body onto the job site. You know what I'm saying? You have to go by these safety rules. And if you don't, well, then you guess what? You get fined. You don't need the government for that. You understand what I'm saying? All you need is a contract and a way to ensure that that contract is carried out. But again, you don't need government for that. So if they don't want to pay the fine, guess what? That job will get shut down. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're deliberately neglectful on the job site, and you have, like, you know what I'm saying, you're not covering a hole that people can fall through, or you got guys out there working at height and they're not wearing a safety harness. Trust me, there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. But now they're trying to roll the SNAP mandates into OSHA. That's unprecedented. There, you can't, like, there's no other, well, except for hospitals, I will say. Correct me if I'm wrong, Derek. I know there's OSHA covers many different things. It's occupational safety and health. It's not just about, it's not just about physical hazards. It's also about, health hazards. So I'm not sure, but there's probably some shit in OSHA where if you work in a hospital, you have to get this a TB test or a flu shot or some shit. But I can kind of understand that in the hospital. There's certain things I do understand about why certain things need to be in place, but we don't need a government to enforce it, because if you have a government enforcing it, if you have a few individuals enforcing these things, it becomes a slippery slope. It starts they start, you give them an inch, they take a mile with your freedoms. And that's just the bottom line to it. Who's checking the government, right? There's supposed to be checks and balances because you got three branches of government, but who's outside of that checking those three branches of government? Who's checking the judicial branch? Who's checking the legislative branch? Who's checking the executive branch? They're checking each other, but who's checking all of that? It's supposed to be the people, right? We, the people, are supposed to be checking their motherfucking asses, right? But we're not, because we have allowed them to usurp power over our own lives. You understand? We gave them power over our lives, and we've also given them power over other people's lives when we don't have that ability, because we didn't have power over other people in the first place. So now we have given so much over to the government, we're not even allowed to check their ass no more. We can't check the government. That's what the people are supposed to do. That's what the 10th Amendment is about. The checks and balances, the people that are supposed to check the motherfuckers that's getting checked, that's checking each other. The three branches are checking each other, supposedly, and they're also checking us. It's not supposed to work like that. We're supposed to check they monkey asses. We're supposed to check them. How many times have we put out motherfucking petitions that went nowhere? Petitions that go nowhere. Oh, well, millions of signatures. And still shit don't get done. We show up to school board meetings, get arrested, because we're very passionate about our children's education. We don't want them being molested. We don't want them learning how to be molested and how to accept that. We don't want them learning how to be gay and all this other shit. When that's not supposed to happen like that. The Habakkuk says, I'm not discussing any of that. Oh, okay. Black Swan says, I've been approaching my neighbors and saying we need to protect our street. I have started a community garden. Oh, that's what's up. My mother also started a community garden in Chicago. I posted that I actually posted a picture of her in her community garden on my community tab. Try by Make It Sell It says, we are now obsolete to them since we have advanced technology and machines. But who's going to maintain the machines? The machines there has to be maintenance and repairs done on the machines. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Tree of Liberty is absolutely thirsty, Colin Powell says. Me too, Marcy. See, I'm tired of all this noise too. Did you see they gave medical exemptions to Allah Congress? Allah Congress. Who's that? They only check each other and get raises. Exactly. Exactly. Try, buy, make it, sell it. But we're supposed to be checking they monkey asses. Meanwhile, we're sitting back and letting them do ride roughshod over us. Marcy says the Pfizer employees, the majority of the employees and Johnson & Johnson employees all exempt from, of course they are. What's up, Xander? Hold on real quick, guys. Sorry about that, y'all. Habakkuk says, did you get a chance to read up on the tsunami warning due to volcano eruption? No, I haven't. I need to look into that. Marcy says, don't hate Lord God and Jesus because of religion. That would be stupid. No, don't do that. Of course not. But it's the idea is that this whole thing around religion and religious exemption religion is a construct based around your belief in a higher power, right? Or it's a way of life. That's what religion is. Religion is a way of life, a system, a way of life around something. It's centered around something like Jesus Christ, Allah, Muhammad, all that other shit. But at the end of the day, my belief system is one of freedom, right? And liberty, 100%. Regardless of what, it's not so much about faith in something that I don't understand. It's based on the fact that we are all free individuals. We are all free people who can do whatever we want, as long as we're not violating the rights of someone else. As long as we're not creating victims of other people, we should be allowed. If we want to take drugs and harm our own bodies, we have that right. That's, if I want to drink alcohol, if I want to, bungee jump, if I want to, whatever. If I want to skydive, there's no law against skydiving. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you, how many people have had the snap, the virus? No, how many people are on snap? I think about 80 million. Those 80 million people are being looked down upon for not getting snapped. But no one looks down on you for jumping out of a motherfucking airplane at 20,000 feet. You're putting your life you're more at risk of dying jumping out of an airplane than from contracting Modelo 19 and dying from that. But they don't look down on you for jumping out of an airplane, do they? They look down on you for fucking coming out of your house and not having some shit put in your body that you don't want. Like, it's completely bass backwards and asinine. This idea that I have to get this stuff put in my body because they have blown this whole thing around the Modelo 19 up so badly over the last year and a half that they have to find a way to continue to control you, because guess what? It did not kill 2 million people in the United States like they said it was going to do. It did not kill even 1 million people. Right? That's what the controls were for. Oh, we need to flatten the curve. We need to reduce the deaths. Well, in states where they had little to no restrictions, there were not a lot of deaths compared to states that had a lot of restrictions. Stupid F. Oh, these fucking spam calls. Religious exemptions for violate the 14th Amendment. It violates everything that we stand for as free people. As free people, this religion exemption shit, even the medical exemptions, all that, this is just exemptions, period. I have to get something signed or I have to sign some paperwork. No, I don't want it. And look, again, if the private company on its own, without influence and pressure from the government, wants to mandate a snap, more power to them. Okay, fine. That's what you want. I'm not going to get the snap. I'll find another job. That's fine. My problem is with the government forcing mandates on companies that don't want them, and they have to get fined and all. That's where the problem of government comes in. At that point, it's a problem. But if a private company, okay, fuck you, I'm going to get a job somewhere else. And I know I don't really have to worry about it because there are some companies that aren't going to want to do the mandates. But if the government forces it down their throats, that limits my options. right? That limits my options, and that's what they want. They want to limit your options so that you're desperate, stressed out, and running to them for shit, or complying, or falling in line. It's not for public safety. Trust me on that. They don't give a hot fuck about public safety. They just don't want shit to get too out of control. They want some level of control and some level of stability, so to make it seem like they are needed and that it's important. Here's one thing that the clown shoe Lucas doesn't seem to grasp. This public safety stuff, who enforces that? Who enforces anything that the government wants implemented? The very people he hates, the very people he speaks out against, the police. He speaks out against the police. He's always talking shit about the police. And I agree with him as far as the police goes. Police terrorism is a problem. But who's going to enforce this shit? The police. It's not about public safety. It's about public control. It's about making sure you fall in line. And how I'm going to get you to fall in line? By motherfucking sending a popo to your ass to make sure you fall in line. And that's the bottom line to it. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Like, share, subscribe. I might get on a little bit later. We'll see. But, you guys, I'm glad you guys understand it, but I need you guys to help other people understand it. We need to spread this message of freedom. Colin Powell, it is what it is. Fully snapped. Died anyway from the Modelo 19, so they say. We'll just have to see what happens, man. We have to see what comes from this. I have a feeling that it's not. This whole snap shit is gonna snowball. Robert L says, "Do not comply." Exactly. Look at that, more free will. Free will is the most important thing. That is the most important thing we humans have. Free will. There's nothing more important than free will, because without free will, you get nothing else. You don't get art. You don't get ingenuity. You don't get invention. You don't get advancement of society without free will. All right. So what happens when you lose your free will? Look at North Korea. Holla at y'all later. Peace out. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.